Hello, my name is Molly Keys, and today I will be giving you a quick overview on the new 3 R's: relationship, routine, and resilience. First, let's dive into relationships. When we are creating relationships with our students, we're trying to set trusting norms with them. We're also trying to establish a sense of goodwill between ourselves and the children in our classroom. And of course, this goes down to how we communicate with the students and how we learn about them. This is important because first and foremost, it creates a less stressful teaching environment. When we're focusing on knowing our kids, they will be able to learn more from us and they'll be more likely to behave for us. Various research has also shown that when teachers have better relationships with students, they also get better behavior, which means fewer classroom disruptions, better engagement, and on top of that, this helps to improve student resiliency, which we'll talk about later in the video. In practice, relationship building can have many different forms. It can be everything from a personal interest survey to a communication between just you and another student, to explicit lessons on peer relationships and support in all settings. The key is to find ways that you can focus on relationship building with your students, ways that you can build in relationship building in your day-to-day lessons, as well as standalone lessons on their own. This will help you to get to know your kids better, and it will help them to get to know you. Next, let's talk quickly about routines. A routine is a practice that creates an environment that has predictable expectations and patterns. Routines are also systems that meet the social, emotional, safety, and academic needs of all students in a setting. When we have routines, we're creating predictability and organization. For our students in trauma and many others, a more predictable environment leads to better behavior and better emotional regulation. Of course, that means fewer classroom disruptions, more independence, and most importantly, again, a less stressful teaching environment for you. If your students are able to follow routines, then you'll be much less stressed. In practice, routines can have, again, a number of different looks. Anytime that you're setting a schedule or an expectation for how something should be done, you're creating a routine. In the face-to-face setting, we have routines for things like walking in line, getting water from the classroom sink, or even how we get out our binders quickly and with as little disruption as possible. In the online setting, routines can be how we get onto the computer. They can be how we get into class and what we do right after we get into class. Do you have brain teasers? Do you expect students to share? The way that we teach and the way that the day goes is how our routines come to life. The more structure and routines that we can set, the more predictability and safety our students will have in the classroom. The third piece of this video is the idea of resilience. Resilience is how we are able to recover quickly from difficulties and trauma, how we can adapt in the face of adversity, or handle significant sources of stress. Oftentimes we think of resilience as the ability to bounce back. If we fall, we don't break, we bounce back up and try again. Resilience is also the ability to identify the size of a problem so that we can measure our response. If students are resilient, then it helps them to improve their self-regulation, which leads to, of course, increased independence. It also improves their flexible thinking and growth mindset. If a student is resilient and they fail a test, then they'll see it as an opportunity to grow and learn. But if a student lacks resiliency and they fail that test, then they'll see it as a real blow to their idea of who they are and their sense of self. A student that fails a math test but doesn't have resilience may not be able to go back to math with a growth mindset. It also helps students with their problem-solving skills. If a student is resilient then they'll be able to work their way through a problem rather than explode or give up. And of course, students who are resilient also have a little bit more autonomy. They're able to handle problems and situations and emotions on their own rather than needing the help of an adult every single time, which of course at the end of the day leads to, again, a less stressful teaching and learning environment. With students who are able to control their emotions better, follow routines, and students that you know and have strong relationships with, you can create a school year that will run much more smoothly than ever before. In practice, resiliency can be learning through failure or struggle. We can intentionally design opportunities for students to fail and push through so that they can learn from it rather than giving up. We can also model, practice, and teach coping skills such as breathing exercises or meditative practices, or even mindfulness opportunities like movement and yoga. By teaching these intentionally, students will build their own toolbox of coping strategies that they can draw upon when they need it, helping them to build that resiliency yet again. At the end of the day, if we want students to be resilient, then relationship and routine are incredibly necessary. Relationship provides them the backup and support that they need so that when they fall, they know they'll be caught. Routine gives them the structure in which they can perform their daily activities so that they can always know what comes next, and they don't have the added stress of needing to guess or wait for the next surprise to happen. The 3 R's and our CASEL social and emotional learning competencies go hand in hand. So as we're going into this school year of stress and trauma and concern for our students and our own well-being, let's make sure to focus on those social and emotional learning skills. And if we're bringing in the 3 R's intentionally, then we're also teaching those social and emotional learning skills. For example, relationships connects directly to the competency of social awareness and relationship skills. Routines also teach self-management and relationship skills. And if we're aiming for resilience, then we're also teaching self-awareness, responsible decision-making, and self-management. So as we go forward in this school year, let's set the goal of making the 3 R's and social and emotional learning intentional in our lessons. Let's set the goal of bringing relationship, routine, and resilience into every day of our teaching. We hope that you enjoyed this video and that you got a little something from it. If you have questions or concerns about the 3 R's or any other behavior-related topic, feel free to email us at bss@aps.edu. If you'd like to hear more from our team in other formats, you can also follow us on Twitter at APSBSSteam. And if you liked this video, then please make sure to like and subscribe. Have a great day and a great school year.